Okay, hello everyone. We are live tonight. My name is Tamar Weiner. I am one of the co-founders of Women Who Lift Israel. We are one of the only Facebook communities for women only dedicated to empowering each other through strength training. And we started this series for all of our women in the group. Oh, it looks like we're having issues going live in the group. Nope, we're live. So we have today Libby Zelikowitz. Did I say your last name correctly? Zelikowitz?
Yeah, perfect. Zelikowitz, you could say.
Zelikowitz. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Amazing.
Tricky one.
And yes, it is. And we would love to get started right away with you. And so tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you specialize in, and everything else you'd like us to know about you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. You did a great job of introducing me. My name is Libby Zelikowitz, perfectly pronounced. I am 26 years old. I live currently in Tel Aviv, Israel. Sorry, got distracted for a second, my roommate. I made Aliyah from Queens, New York, where I was born and raised. And I moved here to join the Army, the IDF. And yeah, so since then, I finished the Army about a year ago. I play professional soccer now for B'not Netanya here in Israel. I also this year played soccer for the national team when we visited Italy to compete. And I am also a personal trainer, CrossFit coach, and founder of ZELIFIT. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do right now. And
Amazing. So first of all, we were born in the same place, Queens, New York. I just have to say, I don't know why.
Where?
I'm just like, I don't actually know, but part of me is like, I was born in the same city as Libby Zelikowitz. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I just have to say thank you so much for your service, for coming to our country, and for serving in our Israeli Defense Forces. I mean, not only that, but you were a lone soldier. And for anyone who doesn't know how hard that is really, really, really tough. And so before we even get into all the rest, thank you so much from all of us, really. So I would love to get into these questions. What was young Libby like? I mean, we really want to get to know your story, even before you became, this badass female athlete that we know today. So young Libby, tell us.
Oh man, young Libby was a troublemaker. No, I'm kidding. She was your typical tomboy, loved to be outside, loved to play with friends, very, very competitive in everything that you can imagine, whether it be like handball or soccer or kicking a water bottle, playing an instrument, very competitive in everything. Always also in school playing, you could catch her playing with all the boys outside, really competing in what she could. And on the other side, there was Libby, who liked to explore the entrepreneurial side of things, where you could catch her buying lemons, going to the store, buying lemons, setting up a lemonade stand with her friends, making that lemonade, cashing that money in. Then after that, running to the store to buy some candy, collecting toys that I found in my house to sell on the street, just playing, having fun, and I guess getting into business at a young age.
That is amazing. You really started this from a young age, and I feel like that really goes to show your personality and really just sheds light on why you've accomplished so much at such a young age. So then I really want to get started in knowing young Libby and soccer. Where does that start? When did you first become interested in soccer? When was it first this, I don't know, some kind of presence in your life?
Okay. Well, I guess I would start by talking about my beginning in sports. I started playing sports at a very young age, since I can remember, maybe like 4 or 5 years old. My parents are both in the education system. My dad is a physical education teacher. And in New York, what you see a lot of is there's a lot of little leagues, which is young kids playing in a lot of different sports. So my dad really enrolled me in what he could. I was playing roller hockey at a young age. I was playing softball, t-ball, basketball, and soccer. And it was more recreational, like you're playing with the little kids after school. Everyone gets a trophy. It's great. Then when I got to high school, I went to my tryouts, and I'll never forget that I fell in love with soccer. It was now at a competitive level. And I really enjoyed to really compete and show my stuff. And I felt like this was something I could do. And soccer caught my attention more than the other sports. I mean, I still competed in high school in those sports, but then soccer really took over. So I started playing for club, travel soccer. So that means we were traveling with our teammates all over the states, different states literally every weekend. And high school was like the first place, it was really solidified in my life, especially because from high school you get recruited to go to college and play collegiate soccer. So what they have in the States is we have college showcase tournaments. And basically what it is you go to a bunch of tournaments, college coaches come to see you play, and you get recruited for all these different teams to play for college and hopefully get a scholarship, go visit the school if you get in contact with you. And that's what happened to me. That was the route I took. I took soccer as a route and played in college, Mercy College Division II, where I received my degree in finance. And that was the beginning of my career. Also, at the end of high school, I started playing with the youth national team here in Israel. And I fell in love with the sport. It's a global sport. You see it almost in every country, and you can play it anywhere. And that's what really caught my eye was the fact that it kind of brought the world together in a sense of everyone played this one sport, no matter where you were from, no matter what language you knew. Like there's a ball, there's just hands while it's in play, just get that ball in the goal. And I really felt like it brought people together, and I fell in love with it. And since then, I played professionally here after college, and I played most of my career was in actually asa Tel Aviv. That's here in Tel Aviv University, if you guys know. And I recently made the switch this season to B'not Netanya, which has been great also. And yeah, that's how I really got started in soccer. It started from a bunch of sports and it came down to one. I think you're muted.
I'm muted because I have dogs, so I want to make sure the dogs don't interrupt your lovely answers. And thankfully they didn't exactly. But so what I especially love about your answer, though, which is what I was trying to say, is that you're talking about getting connected to this language of soccer almost. And like a lot of athletes talk about the language of their sport. And when you go up against someone else or with a teammate or something like that, you're all playing this language of that sport, and that really connected you. So then did you ever get to play on a team with like people from many different countries? Like
yeah, always played on a team with people from so many different countries. Well, whether it be in Queens, it's the biggest melting pot, and we had a lot of Greek players, a lot of Colombian players, a lot of players from everywhere. And even here, being also so diverse, we have players on B'not Netanya, we have Nigerian players, we have a lot of players from the States, we have a player from Holland, and especially the Israeli players. So it's quite interesting. The dynamic also is because some players don't speak Hebrew, some native Hebrew speakers don't speak English, but we have to figure out a way to communicate and hit that target that we all have, regardless of the language barrier. does catch us sometimes, but still get through it.
Amazing. So then we went through this whole story of young Libby and then how you got connected to sports and then how you went from that to getting connected to soccer and then to where you are today. Did you ever really think you would end up playing as a professional soccer player? While you were in high school and tryouts and really enjoying the sport, was that something in your mind?
I actually have a really funny story. Little young Libby, that troublemaker. No, I'm kidding. She was in middle school, I believe, and it was career day. So career day is where you come and you talk about, like, parents come and talk about their career. So I'm walking by and my principal says, "Hey, Libby, come on, tell us about what you want to be when you grow up and talk on loudspeaker so the whole school can hear." So I go and I talk on loudspeaker and I tell the whole school that I want to be a professional soccer player. I'm going to be a professional soccer player when I grow up. And so I will never forget that day. And I was recently talking about it with one of my teachers back then. After that, like, I got a lot of comments after, like, "Oh, Libby, you really think that you could be a professional soccer player? Really?" And I was like, yeah, why not? Why can't I be a professional soccer player? But it was definitely like my target at the time, whether it was a dream. And I really decided to work towards it and do everything I could to, like, hit that target of becoming a professional soccer player. And so I guess I didn't imagine it would be all this and everything, but I'm really happy that I got to this point.
That's amazing. So then I would love to ask, only because a lot of people, I think most people know what soccer is, of course. It's like you said, it's a very international sport. However, not many people know the actual, like, process that it takes, let's say, to get on a team or something like that when it comes to professional soccer. Can you explain to us what that tryout process is like?
Yeah, of course. So depending on the level, like, and where you're coming from, we don't really have tryouts, at least that I've experienced. Where it comes from, like, you've been playing for a while, at least at the professional level, you have footage, or you have an agent, or you're being recruited by a coach that heard or saw you play. So for me, that's what it was, that I had footage and I knew it was coming to Israel, and I was also on the national team. And so we sent it out, and if they like what they see, they call you or not. And you really have to, I guess, when you get there, you have to fight for your spot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I've met a lot of players who come and go, but you really have to, like, make a position on the field and show them what you got at all times at a competitive level.
I see. So it sounds very, very strenuous. It sounds very high pressure. How many girls are you up against? I mean, from a pool of how many people are they choosing?
I guess the sky's the limit, because at the professional level, they're taking athletes from all over the world. And you can have, like we said, we have players from Nigeria, we have players from the States. There's also a lot of, like, players that just, I know that the Asian market is also open. Like, it's very complex, so they can pull players from anywhere. They do that, and it is competitive. And then, as I said before, like, once you get in the team, it's very competitive to be on the team and to fight. There's only 10 spots, 11 spots on the field. And usually teams have about, like, 20 players, maybe more. And so you're all competing for A, that starting lineup, or B, a position on the field.
I see. So it's interesting because you have this group dynamic of people you're playing with, and you have this, like, team dynamic, but you're also, like, you're, like, competing against them, competing against yourself, competing against the other team. It's very complicated.
It's very complex, yeah.
So then what was the first professional team that you were accepted on?
Asa Tel Aviv.
Asa Tel Aviv. How did you feel when you first found out that you made the team?
Oh, I was so excited. At the time I was alone, so I was doing a little dance in my room, but no one was around. Then of course I called my parents and let them know that this was happening. My dream was coming true, and I was above and beyond happy. And I just knew, well, okay, I made it here. Like, now it's time to really show them what I got. That was the first stage, and then you get the second stage, and there's always more work to be done, I feel like.
More work to be done. More work in terms of what? Like you yourself as a soccer player, or in terms of?
Yeah, more me as a soccer player, and also as a team. Like, there's always a competition. There's always a next goal. There's always a championship to go forward to. There's always a title or personal achievements that you want to get. Like, getting on the team is the first step to like a mountain of goals that you can reach and targets to set. So there's always something to work for. And there's also, personally, like, you as an athlete, one thing that I take very seriously is becoming a better player every time, or learning something from every day you step on the field or practice, or even the little things, whether it be nutrition or sleeping or stretching or exercise. There's always something to advance in. So that's what I mean. Yeah.
Absolutely true. And I think that's something that people often miss in terms of professional athletes, is the sheer amount of personal development as well that goes along with an athlete's like athletic development. So then, like, mental strength. I can only imagine the sheer amount of mental strength you need in order to run back and forth on that field for so long. How do you train your mental strength for, I mean, you are running for how long at one time? Let's say, for example, in one game, like half an hour or more. So
90 minutes, a game's 90 minutes, at breaking into 45 minutes. Yeah. So it's kind of, I would say mentally, it's more of the trickier part is staying positive, and because then, there's a lot of opportunity for mistakes to go wrong and something to go wrong. So to stay in the game is the trick mentally. But that comes along with running back and forth. That's the competitive side of us, where we're just like, I'm not even thinking personally at me. I'm not thinking about how tired I am, because I just want to just win so bad. It's just like, all right, where's the, what can I do next? Like, where are we looking to move forward? But I think I'm one of those players who runs a lot. I run a lot all game. Can ask my teammates, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going. But I'm just running the whole game. Like, I want to win, and it's my competitive nature to do so. But it's definitely to stay positive and want to continue to do so, and not let yourself break down when there is something that goes wrong or a mistake. It's like, or we get a goal scored on us. Like, no, it's okay. We're still going to move forward. Like, we're still going to work as hard as we can, because we're still in the game, and there's an objective of winning.
Yes, absolutely. And an analogy that I always like to tell people is that positivity is like a muscle that you literally have to train. And it's a muscle that can have bad days and sore days and tired days, but it's also a muscle that in order to improve, you have to literally work at it just like you would work any other muscle. So I love that answer. Excuse me. I think that positivity is a huge part of mental strength that people tend to not realize. And if you're running for 45 minutes, I mean, twice, so 90 minutes really, I can only imagine how many times you can easily get down there. But so my next question is something you already touched on, and I would love to expand on it more. We have had quite a few interviews so far, and I will be honest, most of them are like single player or two player sports. We've had a lot of great athletes, power lifters, weightlifters. We've had Thai boxers, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, lots of things, swimmers. Time that we have had someone from soccer. So what's it like in a team dynamic?
Yeah, you talked about it before to yourself. You said it seems very complex, and you nailed it perfectly. Yeah, you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the team. You're always thinking about the other team. So there's a lot to think about when you're playing on a team sport, as opposed to just thinking about like, oh, my job is to do this, to hit that target. But now you have to be able to work with other people, and also something that we feel is also their mental state of their positivity or negativity. And it is super complex. And like I also mentioned before, is that we are not only competing against another team, but throughout practice, we're also competing against each other. And depending on teams, like I've played on teams that can be very, very competitive, and the girls could be not nice, and it's literally in practice, it's like fight. And then you have teams that can also really come together and play together and support each other. This year, I'm lucky with B'not Netanya. We're very, very complete team, and it's something we all very appreciate, is that we're together on and off the field. And when there's a player down, we pick them up, and we have to see what's going on with them. It's a group. It's like a family, really. So the dynamic is quite interesting, and we do have our days where we can be snappy. But at the end of the day, we're looking to hit the same target, and we have to remind ourselves that all the time and work together.
So then how does the team dynamic teach you about yourself as an athlete? Because I can only imagine that playing a team type of sport for so many years changes you as a person and as a player.
Yeah, it definitely has changed me as a person. Growing up, I was always surrounded by teammates, and it teaches you how to work together, work as a team. Teaches you how to communicate. And I think that I wouldn't be the same person I am today if I hadn't played sports my whole life. And I've definitely made like some of my best friends, and you do see a difference of, I don't know, last year I also did Ninja, which was more of a individual sport, and it's on you to do the workouts, to compete. It's just you and only you. So it was interesting to see the difference between just working by yourself and working in a team. I'd say that the most crucial part would be teamwork and working together with other people, and not only thinking about yourself, but thinking about the person next to you. And every game we're fighting also for the person next to you. Like when I see a teammate on the field who's working hard, I want to work as hard. And I know that vice versa. If I bring my best to the game, that it's gonna show other players like, okay, maybe we need to level up, because this is where we should be and this is where we could be. So let's go. And I love it when I see my other teammates go hard, and I'm just like, okay, we're in this. Let's go. I'm excited. I think that's what I love the most, is just playing with my team and fighting together, and we're family at the end of the day.
Especially that. This answer right here is what I love the most out of everything so far in this interview, because our group, I mean, literally the reason why we exist is to empower women through different forms of fitness and health. And part of the reason why we did that is because it's rare. Women need to hold each other up more, to support each other more. And like you said, when you see your teammate working hard, you just go and look at her and say, I'm going to work just as hard or even harder. And when you win together. So that answer was just music. I loved it. But so let's continue then. Tell me about ZELIFIT. What is ZELIFIT, first of all?
Okay, so ZELIFIT is a fitness brand that was meant to inspire anyone who never felt like they could to do. In a sense, I guess, So I'll tell you where it started. Through sports, I was always really focused on the fitness aspect of things. I love pushing myself, and I saw that some people didn't. And then after sports, when I came to do the Army here, I realized that being with people who were maybe always in the sports world or the fitness world, there was a real big gap of the knowledge about fitness and exercise, or the lack of wanting to do so. So what I did was, while I was in the Army, I decided, like, people need to know more about fitness, especially I think here in Israel. I don't know, that's what I felt with the time. And so what I wanted to do was create this brand that would be able to teach people what to do. And it kind of turned out to be an ambassador brand of amazing athletes, people alike who love fitness. And then people wanted to work out. So we all started working out together, and it became a community of athletes and non-athletes alike. And I think it's important to really, something that people don't want to do is to come out of their comfort zone, right? And fitness can put people there sometimes. It takes them out of their comfort zone, especially if they never exercised before, or don't know much about it. And so what I wanted to do was build a community where people who do know about it and people who don't know about it can feel comfortable working together. Unfortunately, with Corona, like a lot of other businesses, we had to take a pause because we couldn't meet in person. And right now we are looking to grow and reestablish the brand. But it's really for people who don't normally exercise or want to get into exercise, or took a break from exercise to feel comfortable to come out and train with us, to learn, to push themselves, to get out of their comfort zone and break those barriers that they never really thought they could break.
Absolutely. And I think that's especially important because in our group, let's say, just to take an example, almost 50%, almost a half of our over 1,000 member group are people who identify as being totally new to strength training, really not sure where to start. And even majority of them join the group and don't post anything because they're just so in their comfort zone that they're not really sure how to move past that. So this is actually a great topic. Let's say, for example, someone is exactly like that. They are sitting right in the middle of their comfort zone and they are very, very, very comfortable. And let's say they've never worked out in their life. I mean, if this person were to come to you, where do they start?
First of all, I love when people come to me when they never worked out, because you just have so much room to grow. Like, the sky's the limit and you're just starting. I'd say don't be scared, because there's absolutely nothing to be scared of. You have a body, you can use it, and you just got to start. And most of the fear is just getting past that start, showing up, just going to the gym, getting there, and then getting started. You just got to start with baby steps. Like, you can, I would tell them, like, you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, especially physically. Like, you can do it. There's just so many incremental steps you can take. It's just about being dedicated and putting in the work and taking care of yourself. But like, the thing I would nail home is, like, you can do it, and you should just be proud of yourself for A, wanting to do it, and B, starting. That's exactly what I would want to know.
Amazing. So then, ZELIFIT, I'd love to hear what is going to happen in the future of ZELIFIT. You say you're looking to grow. Corona has been really hard on majority of gyms and fitness brands, I think across the world, sadly. But we're looking forward to ZELIFIT. And what does ZELIFIT have in store for the future?
I can't say too much.
That's okay.
We're looking at opening up some boot camps around Israel, and hopefully having people join that from all levels of sport, of not sport, and there's a lot in the works, but it's going to move in a boot camp kind of direction, and really just create a community of athletes and non-athletes alike, to get people to really enjoy movement, enjoy getting out there. We were kids once, you know, we moved. It was easier. Maybe it was easier to move back then, but we had fun playing, you know, we had fun going out, spending time on the streets, running, riding our bikes. Like, what happened? We're working now, we're sitting behind computers. Like, I don't know if you ever heard this term, but like, sitting down, they say, is the new smoking. You know, we're just sitting down all day, and our body is literally deteriorating. Like, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So my goal is to get people out and about again, to have fun, to challenge themselves. Our workouts are gonna be challenging, but they're gonna be doable, and they're always going to be doable for anybody at any level. To just go out, have fun, moving. Don't feel like, oh, like I can't, or I'm embarrassed to move, but we're all in the same boat, you know, we're all working all day. And so just bring out the kid in people again, I think.
I love that a lot. And I especially love that because I feel like there's this outlook on working out, that working out has to be miserable. You have to suffer. You must suffer in order to have worked out properly. And that's so not true. First of all, there's so many different ways to make it fun, and it's really up to you and how much fun you want to bring into it, but also do what you enjoy. Find what works best for you. Do what you enjoy. Find a community, whether it's ZELIFIT or it's Women Who Lift Israel or it's something else entirely, and make it fun. Like you said, we used to move, and I think we really need to remind ourselves that the body loves movement, especially.
Yeah. The body loves movement. It needs movement. And if it's even just like going for a walk, get up, move, do some squats, like, it's so important to our health. And for me, like, I kind of get a little freaked out, like, looking at like the States, for example. There's the obesity rates and everything. And people don't know how important it is to exercise. And personally, something I really like about exercise, and I read this book called Spark. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's by Dr. John Ratty.
Yes.
Ratty. Yeah, and he talks about the mental health and how exercise can help it, and whether it be depression, anxiety, ADHD, among other things that it already helps. I think those things are very important, especially now, post-COVID, mid-COVID. Like, there is an influx of anxiety, of social anxiety, depression. So I think it's extremely important for people to start exercising, start getting those heart rates up. And like, it builds your brain. It literally builds your brain, especially it's important for kids. And that's also some place that ZELIFIT is another place that we might be moving, is ZELIFIT Kids, and getting them to really feel good again. You know, we're supposed to move. So I think if everyone wants to check out that book, it's a great book. I think that's why exercise is so super important.
Yes, I love everything you said about kids. The obesity rate, I mean, you're right. And then there's no denying the fact of the increase in also depression and anxiety, especially social anxiety. In the last year, it's been really tough on everyone. And exercise can be such a natural and amazing way to release dopamine in the brain and get those happy molecules moving. I recently convinced my father to get a personal trainer, and I told him that it's the difference between being able to sit down on the toilet or not one day. And it shocked him. And he was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to get a personal trainer. So I love that you do this. I love especially that you focus on people who might not have ever strength trained before, and maybe even with kids. That would be super cool. I would love to take a moment and let you say thank you to everyone in your support system, because we want to know who is in your life that makes you the best Libby that you can be. You've talked about all your teammates. Who is in your life that is cheering you on from the side?
Definitely my family. They definitely support me. Now that I live here as a lone soldier, unfortunately they're in the States. But definitely my dad is a big part of my support. So is my mom. They're always looking over me and making sure that I'm okay, and my siblings too. I don't think that I'd be doing what I do without them. And besides my family that's abroad, I have a lot of good friends here that are my family, and from the army or other people who made Aliyah or not. I have a really close group of friends that really keep me positive and really support me and push me every day. And besides that, some of my biggest inspirations are my trainees that I train. I love seeing them smile and just hearing feedback from them on how much they feel like it's really changed their lives to train. And for me, it's like, okay, this is why I do it. And even hearing people on Instagram or people, who give me feedback on how I can help them, it gets me going. And there's nothing else better than that, I think.
Yeah, you are literally changing people's lives, quite literally.
Yeah, it's the best feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but when I hear those stories, I'm like, wow, okay, let's go. Like, I just want to help more and more people, and that's the point of ZELIFIT, and that's the point of, I guess, most of what I do.
Oh, I just love your energy. I wish I could just like suck it up into a bottle and drink it. That sounded really creepy. So then we want to bring awareness, though. Of course, we are women who lift Israel. We represent strong women everywhere that do any kind of sport, in your case, soccer. And we want to really bring awareness to what it's like to be a strong woman. I mean, you are a role model for female soccer players, not just in Israel, but also all across the globe. I mean, how has being a strong woman helped you, not just from, let's say, winning at the game with your team, but also just in everyday life?
That's a great question. Being, I guess, a strong female is something that I feel like I sometimes need to be, or I wouldn't say need to be, but yeah, like I need to be. Like, I'm very independent, whether it be like groceries or like simple things from that to having to be also mentally strong, getting through hard stuff, even COVID or things like that. It's important to me because I also know a lot of people who aren't strong, and sometimes you see that. And there's a difference between, being able to bounce back and from certain things, which is one of the best things that you get from sports, is you learn how to deal with failure and how to be strong through the hard times. I guess, wait, can you just remind me that last part of the question again?
Of course, about everyday life. I mean, it's one thing to go and be, go and get a giant win at a soccer game, which is also amazing. But then what about an everyday life of just being strong and living your life?
Definitely being strong is important. So from doing little things, like I said, to groceries or like picking up stuff or like moving or things like that, I find it helps me to be strong to be able to do those things myself. But also I've been there have been days where I wasn't so strong, and it was hard for me to get up the stairs, or it was hard for me to open a door. And just feeling that difference is I don't know how to listen to words, but it changes your quality of life, I guess. When things are easier and less of a struggle and you're strong, it makes things a lot easier in life, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely does. It makes it easier to get through life. It makes it easier just to be able to enjoy life even. And it's like you said, when you have an off day, sometimes you don't even notice it till then.
Yeah.
You really
You
don't.
notice it then for sure. But the best feeling is when you feel that strength back, and you're back, and you're like, you're right. This is it. And for me, exercise, like, it changes my whole mood. It changes my whole mental state. Like, if I don't exercise, I feel depleted. I feel weak. And then the second I do, my whole mood changes. This energy, it's from exercise. You got to build it, you know? And you can tell. At least I could tell. There's, when I have friends I do train with them, and I'm like, did you lift today? Like, I think you can use a good lift. And so it changes you. And also outside in just my personality of, like, people always are like, oh, there's a girl, she needs help. I'm like, I got this. Like, I'm strong. Like, I can do this myself. And so I think it really makes a difference in in people's lives, whether, you know, you lift or you don't, or you work out or you don't, or you feel strong, feel good.
Amazing. I totally agree. And I would love to give you the opportunity to talk directly to our members. I mean, we talked a little bit about if a total beginner comfort zone enthusiast came to you, what would you tell them? And now let's talk to our group directly. We have about 1,200 women in our group who are strength trainers in some way, shape, or form. They all do various different types of sports, and most of them do some form of strength training. What do you have to say to them? Let's say they are struggling right now and having a tough day. What do you have to say to them?
What I would say is just start. Just get out there, start. It's the hardest part, is getting out of bed, going to the gym, or going for a walk, or just get through that first 10 seconds and get moving. And once you're there, you'll be happy you got there. But you can do it. That's what I would have to say, is, like, you can do it. You just have to literally start, and you can start with the smallest steps, and you just build on it and be consistent. You can do, I think personally, is like, you can do anything you set your mind to, and don't be scared. And one of my favorite things is to push myself out of my comfort zone. And even if you fail, you've gotten something out of it because you've learned. So push yourselves out of your comfort zone. I'd say get out there, go to the gym. Don't even think about anybody else, because you're there to work on you. And at the end of the day, it's you, and you're going to go to bed with your own self, and you're either going to feel like you did what you had to do, or, you know, you'll say, okay, maybe I did it today, and there's always tomorrow. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's you, not the other people at the gym who are working out. They're working on themselves, and I think that get there, do your thing, focus on yourself when you're there, and do it for yourself and nobody else, and sky's the limit.
I agree. I think that last part, especially if I could bold it, focusing on yourself. I think that is the biggest thing. And a lot of people tend to go into the gym and see everyone around them and get intimidated. Focus on yourself. That's what I try to always tell everyone. So I love that answer. So Libby, tell me, what is next for you in 2021?
2021. So right now, 2021 has had a big start for me. So I'm playing soccer, and we actually have a big game tomorrow. We have a semifinal cup match. So I'm getting ready for that. I'm excited. My head's everywhere a little bit. So So we have that coming up, and next would be, I guess, focusing on ZELIFIT and really expanding it and seeing it kind of grow into my dreams. Focusing on that, and yeah, continue with soccer, and who knows, maybe you'll see me on the Ninja again.
Oh, we would hope to see that. That would be amazing.
Would be.
So we have a couple of questions that we got from someone said, oh, it's a comment that they saw your dad also has a really cool Star of David tattoo, and they wanted to know if your family contributed to your love for Israel.
Yeah, my family definitely contribute to my love for Israel. They're very Zionist. Yes, we do have matching tattoo. We got this one going on. So this is his name, Chaim, and shout out Dad. If you're watching. And yeah, so my grandfather from my dad's side, he was actually in the Holocaust. He came here, served in the army, and then eventually to the States, and then here. My brother also did the army, and my mom did the army, and so they definitely contribute to my love for Israel. Always celebrate the holidays at home, and I think that there's no better way and no better place to live than here.
Amazing. I absolutely agree. We have another comment. I think when you were talking earlier about being a strong woman and being able to do things, Sarah agrees. So true. She just went to do grocery shopping, and she farmer carried for 2.5 kilometers of really heavy stuff, and she was so proud of herself. So I love stories like that because I feel like those are like those little everyday things where you don't have to say, oh, I went and deadlifted 100 kilos. No, I carried my groceries home.
Yeah, it's tough. Even for the moms out there who have to carry their kids all the time, you know, I'm sure you feel that, or, you know, holding them all the time. That's heavy. That's a workout.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. That was the only question that we currently have. So I would love to end the interview on a positive note. What is your motto in life?
My motto in life would be to try everything you can, no matter how scary it is. So along lines of like getting out of your comfort zone and not being scared to fail. That would be my motto.
Amazing. Guys, don't be scared to fail. Oh, we actually have one last question. We have 2 questions. First question here is, do you have to be a strong woman to deal with Israel bureaucracy? Honestly, if I have to go to Mishlad Apnim, I go lift weights before her for her endorphins. I think that was more of a joke question. Oh, we have what does ZELIFIT mean?
ZELIFIT it's half of my last name, right. Zelikowitz, so fit. Yeah, so that's what it stands for.
Amazing. Awesome. Libby, this has been an amazing interview, and thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. We have had a wonderful time. Your answers have meant so much to us, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
To everyone. I love what you guys do. I love what you guys do. Keep it up because I think it's so important. Definitely get those women out there. They need to be.
Amazing. For anyone who wants to follow Libby, if you look on Facebook, the text is above, and on YouTube, the text is below. We have her link to her Instagram. You can follow her down below and stay up to date on everything. Other than that, thank you guys, everyone. Have an amazing day. And Libby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.